This clip is going viral right now. Trump was called a protector by a Ford worker. Trump showed him the middle finger and mouthed you. No. President Trump mouths you and flashed the middle finger at a Ford plant worker in Detroit, Michigan after the worker yelled, protector. Oh! 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 Oh my God. Bring him to me. Bring him to me. How dare you think that there is free speech in this country? Do not call me. Do not call me by the commoner's name. Do not call me a protector. Call me the Epstein friend that I am. Refer to me by my government name. He didn't flip the bird. You lied. First of all, I didn't lie. That was TMZ lying. HasanAbi, he flips the bird at the end. Is he flipping the bird? No, right? He's just finger pointing. I feel like he's just pointing the No, he is. Look at him flipping the little bird, little baby bird. That's a little baby. That's a little baby fingy. How does TMZ get everything? They're the only honest name in reporting and news in the United States of America, okay? No one else. That's my president dog. He just like me when people cut me off. WikiLeaks just reported the Department of Homeland Security whistleblower leaks identifies 4,500 agents. Was this bro from yesterday? It's a thumbs up. Well, Grok made enough CSAM to get into the Pentagon, apparently. Hell yeah. That's awesome. The Ameri-Israeli years of lead is upon us. It's going to get way more from here on out, okay? So get used to it. Get ready. Just letting you know. What if Ice Chatter was the leaker? Dude, that'd be sick. Double Circ Tony got an exclusive. Tony DePeepee. Double Circ Tony. Adult circumcision Tony DeCoppel. A lot of you get mad, but if you were going to be, this famous of a journalist, I think you'd get a second circumcision too. You'd shave a little bit of piece off of the foreskin, you know? Just saying. Double circ. Long career. Maybe got a third circ, actually. Triple cut. Shave a little off the top for me, please. I love saying this because every time I bring this up, people go, what the f are you talking about? And then they find out that Tony DeCoppel actually converted to Judaism, got an adult circumcision, a second circumcision, and literally wrote about it. The only reason why we know is because he wrote about it. Okay? He wrote about it in, I think, the New Republic or something. Like, two-cut Tony. You always talk down on the double circ community, and I don't appreciate that. We don't claim him. He got a fade cut on his dick. Yeah. Low taper fade for me, please. That's what he said. So nice he had to do it twice. There's another Trump clip from today. All right, we'll get to that in a second. I do like that is the whole, like, protector thing is not only real, but also is sticking. It's not just, woke libtards on the internet are the ones who are saying this. Like, this is a very real thing, okay? A very real thing.
Morning, and they saw that you said help is on the way.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Well, there's a lot of help on the way, and in different forms, including economic help from our standpoint, and not going to help Iran very much. And, we put Iran out of business with their nuclear capacity, and now, depending on what's actually happening, nobody's been able to give us accurate numbers about how many people they've killed.
Well, on that point,
but it looks
Mr.
like
President,
it could be a pretty substantial number, and that's going to be a lot of problems for them.
A lot of problems. On that point, you did say the U.S. would get involved if Iran started killing protesters.
Yeah.
They have, by the many thousands, according to reports.
Well, we'll see what that is. I've heard two numbers, but we'll see what that is.
Well, now we're hearing that they're going to start hanging protesters tomorrow. So it comes back to the question, have they crossed your red line, or has the line moved?
I haven't heard about the hanging. If they hang them, you're going to see some things that I don't know what where you come from and what your thought process is, but you'll perhaps be very happy.
What do you mean by that?
We will take very strong action. If they do such a thing, we will take very strong action.
And this strong action you're talking about, what's the end game?
The end game is to win. I like winning.
How do you define that in Iran?
Well, let's define it in Venezuela. Let's define it with al-Baghdadi. He was wiped out. Let's define it with Soleimani. And let's define it in Iran, where he wiped out their Iran nuclear threat in a period of about 15 minutes once the B-2s got there. And that was a complete...
Tony's 5'8". Shut the f up. Okay. Either he's standing on an apple box or Donald Trump is 5'9", which I know it's not the case. So he must be standing on an apple box or something. There's no shot because Donald Trump is at least like 6'1" or something, right? Donald Trump is at least 6'1". I know they say he's 6'4". I don't think he actually is. But if double circ Tony is 5'8", Donald Trump is 5'9", brother. There is no shot. Nah, we've been known this. He was standing by soccer players listed at 5'11" and he was shorter. Shut up. That is the greatest conspiracy of all time. The president is under 6 foot. The president is under 6 foot and has been able to maintain the lie that he's 6'4" this whole time. No way. No way. No way. Trump is such a political talent that in interviews like this, he could just say, I'm not sure about those protest death numbers. We're hearing some maybe CIA fabrications, and everyone would go crazy both ways, even if the B2s are fueling. If you want to understand Trump, the worst thing you can do is listen to what he says. Americans have an excuse because we have goldfish brains. The rest of you don't. I'm clocking it. Donald Trump is 6 foot max.
Obliteration, as it turns out, which is what I said initially. Then some questioned it, and they said, Trump was right. So we've been right about everything. We don't want to see what's happening in Iran happen. And, if they want to have
Trump captured on camera getting briefed on Iran, they have no OPSEC anymore. What is this? Trump told reporters on Air Force One he was going to review intel on the Iranian government killing protesters as soon as he got back. I'll have him about in 20 minutes. We'll get some accurate numbers as to what's happening in regards to the killing. We'll act accordingly. I mean, okay, that's fine. Gamal Abdul Nasser says, Senator Bernie Sanders, we must not forget that the current and abhorrent regime in Iran is itself a product of Western-backed intervention. For in 1953, a coup orchestrated by Britain and the United States overthrew Iran's democratically elected government under the presidency of Mohammad Mossadegh, primarily to protect Western oil interests. Wait, what? There's no Bernie Sanders is saying this? He's going beast mode? Maybe it's because he's so old. That's the last time he could form like coherent memories and have an ideologically consistent position. Okay, Bernie. I mean, shocking, but Iran is in turmoil. Millions of people are rising up against their autocratic government. Not surprisingly, the regime is responding brutally by killing thousands of protesters, according to some estimates. The Iranian people have the right to determine their own future, and the United States should support their legitimate aspirations for freedom and democracy. Brother, this is inconsistent with everything else that you're saying. America will never support the legitimate protests and legitimate aspirations of a sovereign peoples, okay? Come on! You literally say that the coup was the reason for why the revolution happened to begin with. But we must not do so at the barrel of a gun. Let us not forget that the current abhorrent regime in Iran itself is a product of Western-backed intervention. In 1953, a British and American orchestrated coup overthrew the democratically elected government of Mohammad Mossadegh in Iran. This was done primarily to protect Western oil interests. Yeah, Bernie Sanders probably hasn't heard of this, but the Iranians are actually Persian and they're Zoroastrian, and they got Arabized by the Arab imperialism. And that's the reason why they're Muslim now. The Iranian people yearn for Zoroastrian towers of death. And that chatter informed me on that. So I was wrong. I was wrong about what I knew about Iran in general. It was actually, the Iranian revolution was fake. It wasn't real. It was actually supposed to be a Zoroastrian revolution. Yeah. So that was my mistake. Curse you, Abbasid Empire. Like, this is the inherent contradiction with liberalism in general, where Bernie Sanders in the same breath says the United States should support their legitimate aspirations for freedom and democracy, but we must not do so at the barrel of a gun. Well, then in the same breath, he goes, and the United States at the time said that they were doing this to support the legitimate aspirations of the Iranian people. Didn't do that last time. And not only did they not do that, but then that led to the real Iranian revolution. But this time is different. Like, what the is the suggestion? Yeah, if you want to help the Iranian people, advocate to lift the sanctions. God damn. This was done primarily to protect Western oil interests. The coup installed the Shah, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, at the head of a corrupt, brutal, and unpopular autocratic regime. After several decades of this dictatorship, the Shah was himself overthrown with the Islamic Revolution in 1979, which brought to power Ruhollah Khomeini and the theocracy that rules the country to this day. Now, with incredible courage, the people of Iran are once again demanding democracy, freedom, and economic justice. The United States must support the Iranian people. We must join the Iranian people in demanding an immediate end to the government violence against protesters, an immediate end to the media and internet blackout, internationally supervised. Where is the sanctions relief? Bernardo used to be like, Bernardo used to talk about like throwing down with the Sandersnistas. And now he's over here forgetting the primary impact that America has here, you know? When you find out your goat is washed. U.S. military intervention is not the answer. It failed in the past and will fail again. The United States must stand with the Iranian people, not overthrow them, not over them. Like, I don't even have a problem with these statements, although it is, albeit hypocritical. I mean, it's Bernie saying this, so it's not less hypocritical coming from an American senator. But all of this stuff is fine, but the first bullet point should literally be sanctions relief. If you don't say that, then it's like, you know, what are we doing here? Because that is the one area of impact that we have over Iran. I don't know. I think he's talking aspirationally, like we should support all their efforts, not we should do sanctions and bombs. He's not talking material support for more rhetorical and moral. At least that's how I read it. No, he should this conversation, whether it be around Cuba or Iran or Venezuela, should first and foremost focus on the American major point of impact. And the major American point of impact is always going to be sanctions. If you are one of the leaders of the progressive movement in this country, you should absolutely bring that up, okay? Even if it is to entertain the talking point and to put it out there in the media, put it out there in the ecosystem so that people are aware of it. Because Americans, by and large, are not aware of this, okay? That's it. And then we can have a separate conversation about like, well, don't you think lifting the sanctions helps the government or whatever? And you can come across like a cruel asshole in that regard where you're like, no, the Iranian people must continue being punished by the American state unless they like successfully overthrow their government. Because that's what you're arguing. When you say sanctions relief, excuse me, wouldn't that be helping the government? All you're basically saying is, well, they haven't seen enough pain yet to successfully overthrow their government through, violent means. So I guess we have to keep starving Iranian babies. It's ridiculous. This is the point. You always have to, if you're going to talk about this stuff, you have to start in sanctions relief. If you're a leftist, if you're anti-imperialist, if you're anti-war, if you're an anti-war liberal, if you're an anti-interventionist, Democrat, Republican, your number one first statement coming out of the gates needs to be, we have been starving the Iranian population with the hopes that they will have a democratic revolution in Iran. But very clearly, after decades of doing so, this has only brought pain and destruction to the proud people of Iran. The first thing that we have to do is scale back on our sanctions. That's it. Because that's the major point of impact. That is the thing that we could do tomorrow. That's the thing that we could do yesterday. Yeah, and also, it wasn't even that crazy of a position. Barack Obama did it. What the Barack Obama did that. Like, where are the libtards, man? Barack Obama was the guy who did the sanctions relief. I cannot believe that this position is now lost amongst the people that even self-identify as like the leftists in the American government. God damn, we are so ridiculous, dude. The conversation has just moved so far to the right. It is crazy. Remember when Obama successfully did sanctions relief? Like, you have the sanctions already implemented. You can use the sanctions relief as a way to tell the government, hey, if you don't do these sorts of things, we won't actually do sanctions relief. That's a good starting point to the conversation. Even if you're not talking about this from, objective morality, the immorality of sanctions, the immorality and transparent cruelty of starving a population if they don't actually get their shit in order and kill the Ayatollah, okay? That in and of itself is an incredibly cruel prospect. That's an incredibly cruel argument to make. You see these people as nothing but political pawns that will overthrow and potentially create a failed state in Iran at the behest of, our big daddy Israel in the region. It blows my goddamn mind. Like, Bernie got my Nicaraguan anti-communist family to reconsider our anti-communism and imperialist tendencies just to turn around and become a liberal himself. That's what I mean. Bernie used to be a burn dog, especially when it came to socialist movements and socialist militancy in the region. Used to put the pedal to the metal every now and then. And then he got destroyed over and over again. He's building up AOC, and for that to happen, moves to the center, so don't hate on him too much. That doesn't matter to me. I'm sorry. But I don't want, if the AOC presidency is just the same old liberal interventionist bullshit, then what the good does that do to other people around the world? And what the good does that do to the American population? Okay, that makes no damn sense. Like, The whole point of why you want an AOC presidency potentially is because you think she's going to be a fighter for human rights. If she's not going to do that, then okay, it might as well be Kamala Harris at that point. And AOC did actually have a really good take, even though she had a really bad take on the Hamas protests, pro-Hamas protesters or anti-Semitic or whatever. She actually did have a really incredible point here that she made that people misunderstood and got mad at, and then she duked it out with the online left here. But here it is.
Government funding, we're about to run out of money. What should be the red lines when it comes to ICE funding? When it comes to DHS, should there be policy or reduction in funding? What should be the options?
I mean, in terms of which deadlines line up with which goals, that's a tactical decision to be made. But my position has always been clear that ICE funding should be cut. We're seeing what they're doing with this reckless explosion in funding, and mind you, just so everybody knows, I want everybody to understand the cuts to your health care are what's paying for this. All that extra money that everybody's paying right now in their premiums, all that extra money that you're paying, it is paid for it is all of that extra money that the government and the ACA subsidies that was given to nearly $1 trillion in healthcare was taken out and given to ICE.
Dude, that is great messaging. Okay, that's great messaging. You're going to get mad and you're going to say, oh, she didn't say abolish ICE, but she literally clarifies in the in the follow-up tweets that she does still very much maintains that position. Okay, she's right. It's good messaging. It's a breath of fresh air. Thank God that there are some people out there who are saying this in a position of power and prominence. Okay. If it wasn't for the crippled old institutional seniority within the Democratic Party, and AOC actually through a merit-based process got a better position in the party overall, the Democrats would not be underwater in their popularity in this moment. I'm sorry, okay? That's just the reality. And there is plenty of things that I criticize AOC for, especially with the whole with the the real problem is actually the protesters outside of the synagogue and not the settler fair that's taking place inside of the synagogue. That was ridiculous. It was a misstep. You have a finite amount of time and energy that you can expend. And if you're focusing on the wrong thing in that conversation, you're losing the conversation for no reason. It's an own goal. Kamala Harris used to do this all the time. You don't even have to take ownership over protesters that are saying that, they support Hamas. Okay. I'm not expecting a sitting American representative or a senator or any politician or mayor to openly state that in the United States of America. Okay. But it's a tactical error to ever take ownership over that instead of turning around and talking about the real problem here. Okay. The real issue here is that there is a settler fair that is illegally doing another stolen land sale inside of another synagogue. That is unacceptable. That's illegal. And Zohran Mamdani literally ran on putting an end to that sort of thing. Okay. Zohran Mamdani actually advanced bills like Not on Our Dime when he was a part of the state assembly to stop this sort of thing from happening. Okay. Having said that, it's the good and the bad. This is fire. Okay. This is perfect. Great take. Nailed it. Smoked it. Everyone can suck it. Okay.
So understand how these dots.
By the way, this same exact narrative also extends to Israel as well and our unlimited, adventurism overseas. For the record, I think she should say that as well. And I think if she did and she took out a more commanding anti-interventionist position here from the left, she would win a lot more favors.
Connect. You get screwed over to pay a bunch of thugs in the street that are shooting mothers in the face. That is what this administration's doing. That's what the Republican Party did.
This is good messaging. It's good policy. It's good politics. It's good messaging. It's good across the board. If I don't honestly give credit where credit is due here, then what the are we expecting? Okay, not every single good statement from a Democrat for once should be met with all of the times where they've actually failed. Okay, that's it. Be harsh and be astute in your observation and your criticism when Democratic representatives are f***ing up, okay? But also be fair when they're doing the right thing. A lot of people, I think, always run into, well, she did this wrong thing. Like there is this demand for purity in general, okay?